Live from KMOV, this is News 4 at 10.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a developing weather situation. Meteorologist Kristen Cornett is tracking some storms on the radar.
Yeah, just to the north of the News 4 viewing area.
All right, thank you, Kristen. And more rain is not what many local residents want to see. They are already dealing with the damage caused by flash flooding. Today, those who live on McCausland Avenue in St. Louis spent the day cleaning up.
Lots of crews out here cleaning up the damage from that flooding. South St. Louis, Mugo Ojigwe, News 4.
The Red Cross is helping dozens of people who had to be rescued from their flooded neighborhood in Centerville yesterday. Emergency crews went door to door to make sure everyone was safe, and then firefighters carried some residents to safety. Others were brought out of their homes in boats. Some emergency officials say this is the worst flooding they've seen in several years. Part of a highway in Lincoln County is back open after floods forced it to close. MoDOT officials tell News 4 all lanes of US 61 at the Quiver River Bridge are back open. That's just 1 mile north of Troy, Missouri. It was closed yesterday because of high waters at the bridge. Today, though, crews say the water went down faster than expected. Inspectors say there was no damage to the bridge that will cause a safety hazard. If you plan to walk or run the trails at Creve Coeur Park tomorrow, you might be out of luck. Go ahead, check out these pictures. You can see part of the park is closed because of high waters, and even an entire pavilion is filled with water. It's unclear when that water will start to recede. And remember, whenever there is a possibility of severe weather, we've made it very easy for you to stay ahead of the storms. Just search KMOV in your phone's app store and download our weather app for free. It'll give you up-to-the-minute forecasts and alerts for wherever you are. News 4 is tracking crime tonight out of the Metro East. 2 shootings in 1 week at a Belleville apartment complex. Right now, police are searching for 2 men who shot another man early this morning. News 4's Alexis Soto spoke with investigators about the possibility the shootings are connected.
Alexis Zotos, News 4.
A popular Metro East restaurant will be closed for several weeks because of a fire. Lottawata Creek in Fairview Heights was damaged in a fire early this morning. Firefighters say the fire was contained to the kitchen area and there was no damage to other parts of the restaurant. But get this, the total cost of the damage is between $50,000 to $100,000. In less than an hour, a section of Interstate 270 will be closed in North St. Louis County. Crews are closing I-270 in both directions between New Florissant Road and the Washington Elizabeth exit. That is so they can remove a pedestrian bridge over the highway. The interstate will reopen by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Still ahead on News 4 at 10 o'clock, a police officer shot and killed in New Orleans. Coming up, how the suspect managed to get a gun while handcuffed in the back of a patrol car. Plus, where police are focusing their search efforts as they look for 2 escaped killers in New York. Those stories and more when we come back. Right this minute, there's an intense manhunt underway in New Orleans for a suspect who shot and killed a police officer this morning. The officer was fatally shot while transporting a suspect to jail. Investigators say the suspect was handcuffed in the back seat of the police car, but somehow managed to get his hands on a gun.
That prisoner produced a firearm.
After the shooting, the police car crashed into a utility pole and the prisoner escaped. In New York now, police are checking into possible sightings of the 2 convicted killers who escaped from prison 2 weeks ago. Brian Webb reports police are once again asking residents to be on alert. Welcome back. Now, I think most people would argue we've had a pretty rough few days of just nasty weather in our area. Yeah. Today was pretty nice, Kristen.
Today wasn't bad.
But you're saying there's more stormy weather happening to our north.
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson, Brandon Grace, and the kid, Jordan Spieth. He wins the Masters, and now all of a sudden he has a chance to win the U.S. Open as well. 21 years old.
I think there are a few more differences between that golfer and us as golfers.
Well, swing and missing? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yes,
all right.
probably.
Okay, so we got that going for us, I guess.
Exciting round of golf tomorrow, though, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brian. Now stick with us because still ahead in our next half hour of News 4 at 10 o'clock, we are following the latest developments in the deadly church shooting in South Carolina. New information about the suspect as the church prepares to reopen tomorrow. Plus, how some car companies are making it harder for parents to keep their kids safe on the road. Those stories and more when we come back.
Live from KMOV, this is News 4.
Welcome back. The South Carolina church where 9 people were killed during a Bible study will reopen for services tomorrow. Meanwhile, investigators are trying to confirm if a manifesto uncovered online was written by the alleged gunman. Craig Boswell reports.
Charleston.
Closer to home, St. Louis City Police are investigating a shooting in downtown St. Louis, one that happened a block away from police headquarters. Shots rang out around 2:30 this morning in the 1900 block of Locust. Police tell us 2 suspects shot at 2 victims as they were leaving a club. We know a 61-year-old man was hit in the side. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The second victim was hit in the knee and is in stable condition. Police say the suspects got away in a red Chevy Impala. St. Peter's police want you to take a good look at these surveillance pictures. Police say this is the man who robbed the U.S. Bank in the 4100 block of Mexico Road. He went in yesterday morning around 11:30. Police say the suspect gave the teller a note saying he had a weapon. According to investigators, he got away with cash. Anyone with information on this crime can call the St. Peter's Police Department. St. Louis City Police want to find those responsible for carjacking a woman at a gas station. These surveillance pictures were taken last Saturday at the mobile gas station on North Kings Highway in Delmar. 3 armed suspects robbed the woman, then drove off in her car. A 4th person followed them in a Chevy Malibu. If you can help identify them, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. We've heard it over and over. Jobs and resources are key to ending the violence in our community. That's why the Job Corps recently opened its doors to Better Family Life to drive home that message. News 4's Alyssa Reitmeyer also talked to Trayvon Martin's father, who was there to help.
We got to work together.
Alyssa Reitmeyer, News 4.
Martin also says events like this touch him personally because he gets to see the better side of people, the compassionate side. It's been 3 years since his son Trayvon was shot and killed. He says people who he's never met still come up to him and say they are praying for him. This afternoon, hundreds attended a festival in East St. Louis to learn more about being better advocates for their children. The event was put on by the Deaconess Foundation and the Jackie Joyner Kersey Foundation. The second annual celebration is focused on making children a civic priority.
Are working together.
About $500,000 in grants were given to different children's agencies in the region. A federal crackdown leads to a dozen arrests in the St. Louis area. Coming up on News 4, investigative reporter Chris Nagus shows us how these arrests are part of a much bigger problem. Plus, why residents in one local community are saying no to building a new park. That story right after the break. Hundreds of millions of dollars just stolen from Medicare, and now a nationwide crackdown ends with hundreds of arrests, including a dozen in our area. Investigative reporter Chris Nagus is learning more about the fraud.
To cool off a little bit as well.
But man, heat index in the 100s, I mean, that's dangerous.
Do you know what tomorrow is? It's Father's Day.
That and the first day of summer.
Yes, the winter solstice officially at 11:39 a.m.
Nice.
So, just in time for summer. The heat.
Yes, it's here.
It's here. Get ready for it.
All right. Thank you, Kristen. Now, leaders in St. John are going back to the drawing board after residents rejected plans to build a new park on a vacant lot. A national nonprofit group chose St. John for an annual home repair project. Part of that project included building a new park. Some residents say a park would lead to more foot traffic and more drug activity. St. John officials tell News 4 they are now looking at other options.
The only thing that they really wanted on.
Chief Morris says they are contemplating building the park in another neighborhood. They also plan to reach out to residents for more ideas on what to do with that vacant lot. Parents know the importance of using car seats for their children, but new safety tests found a problem in some cars that make it more difficult to install those seats correctly. Well, we're taking a closer look coming up. Plus, why you may soon be answering fewer of those annoying robocalls. Those stories just ahead, coming up on News 4 at 10 o'clock.
Watching out for you.
A warning out of our St. Charles newsroom tonight. Scammers are trying to rip people off by pretending to be with the sheriff's department. Someone is cloning the department phone number and using it to convince people they're wanted for not showing up to jury duty. The scammer then convinces the victim to give up his or her credit card information to pay a fake fine. If you get a call like this, you're warned to hang up immediately and call police. You can now tell your phone company to stop connecting unwanted calls to your phone. Federal regulators say it's okay to block robocalls. The FCC agreed that Verizon, AT&T, and other carriers are not required to connect robocalls. Up until now, though, phone companies were concerned with breaking rules that required them to connect every call. A good car seat is your child's best protection on the road, but one feature in many cars is making it harder for parents to install car seats correctly. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety recently tested the car seat attachments on more than 100 vehicles. Hannah Daniels shows us what they found.
Hannah Daniels for CBS News, Washington.
Safety experts say latch hardware with a poor rating still provides the same protection as hardware with a good rating. It's just much more difficult to use. They say parents should take extra care to make sure their car seats are installed correctly. Coming up next on News 4, keeping cool in the summer heat, where residents who cannot afford air conditioning can find help. That's coming up after the break. You heard Kristen earlier. Temperatures will be in the 90s for much of the upcoming week, and that means your air conditioner will be getting a workout. But what about residents who cannot afford air conditioning? News 4's Kelly Deva shows us how a big donation will help those in need this summer.
The official start of summer.
A great initiative right there. Now, it is going to be a very busy night for meteorologist Kristen Cornett. She has packed a bag. She's going to be here watching the weather throughout the night. And of course, tune in tomorrow to News 4 This Morning starting at 6 o'clock for the very latest on your Father's Day forecast. So thank you for watching. I'm Laura Hettiger. Have a great night.